Welcome everyone to the Larsonland podcast. I'm your host, Sawyer Hill, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Dylan Bradshaw. We come in here every single week and talk about all things involving the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series champion, Young Money Kyle Larson. Dylan, we had a huge week of racing for Kyle this past week. High limit at Kokomo last Tuesday. Then it was a surprise appearance at Peevely on Saturday night at the I-55 Raceway, and then on to Michigan for a long 2 days there, and capped it off last night at Oski for the Front Row Challenge. Not so good of a result there, but let's go back to last Tuesday at Kokomo. Second place finish the second week in a row for at a high limit race for Kyle Larson. Kind of dominated the middle portion of the race, but ultimately a mistake out of turn two late in the race in lap traffic allowed Justin Peck to pounce and get by for his first high limit win.
Kokomo, it's always a good one. It's a fun little bull ring to watch the cars go around. But yeah, like you said, I mean, he battled with Corey Day early in the race. Then once lap traffic came around, he kind of struggled a little bit. Kind of hard, like I said, it's a bull ring, so lap traffic's kind of hard to navigate here and there. He's getting stuck, but Justin Peck, he made his move once Larson hit lap traffic. I think that was around the 20 lap mark or so. But yeah, I mean, Peck, he was putting the pressure on Larson for sure, kind of just waiting for a mistake to make his move for the lead. And then Larson, he jumped the backstretch a few times. The one time with 10 to go, that's when Peck kind of made his move on him, took the lead from him. But I mean, it was pretty much all she wrote there from there with Peck. Peck, he was super good. Like I said, he was kind of just calculating when to pounce on Larson and take that lead away. And Peck, he got kind of lucky when he got the lead when he did, because it was pretty much clean air once he took the lead. He had a wide view of the track and didn't really have too many cars in front of him. So he was able to pick that one up. Good for Justin Peck. California boys were holding them all Tuesday at Kokomo. But yeah, it's a good racetrack. I always love watching Kokomo.
Yeah, I mean Kokomo was a good show, and I know a lot of people were advocating for some more 410 sprint car racing there. I know there's like a debate like with like the Outlaws saying that it's not a safe enough facility to have 410 sprint car races there, but they put on a heck of a show last Tuesday night, and as the high limit series pretty much always does, we've seen some really good races this year with the series, and just another one. I know we wish that Kyle was one position higher the past 2 weeks, but nonetheless, that's 5 races. The last 5 races hasn't finished worse than second, so dominating the series to say the least, and it shows in the point standings where he sits pretty far ahead of everybody else, aside from Rico Abreu, who I think is like 48 points behind. So I think Rico still could potentially beat Kyle if he puts together some good races in these last four. I think last 4 races they have Huset's, Lernerville, Bridgeport, and then Lincoln Park, the final 4 for the high limit series. So I guess Rico could maybe do it, but I don't know if anybody else could catch up to Young Money unless he misses a couple races.
Yeah, I wish we had a Peevely race on the schedule in the high limit, because that race, it was insane. Going just kind of going into that, the Ironman 55. Um, Race of the year, in my opinion. That might have been the best sprint car race, at least, that I've seen this year.
Yeah, I think I saw some
It,
better dirt late model ones, but that was
yeah,
definitely the
but
best sprint car race.
yeah, no doubt. I mean, it was definitely a fun one. It was kind of one of those races where you're like audibly like cheering your driver on, like go go go, because it was just nonstop back and forth slide jobs. It was pretty much a huge battle between Schuhart and Larson near the end of the race, but beginning of the race, a little bit slow start for Larson. You had some heavy hitters battling, Sweet, Gravel, Macedo, Hodenshield, all those guys up there. But track condition wasn't the best, but that just goes to show how good of a track it is. I mean, there was a lot of ruts in like turn two specifically on the top side, but I mean, like I said, the track conditions just didn't really matter. The track just puts on such a good race. Larson, he took the lead from Schuhart with I think it was about 20 to go or so, and then the caution came a little late, I think around 10 to go. Schuhart challenged Larson there a bit. Within like the 5 laps to go mark, slide job city from there on out. They were just battling back and forth, crossing each other over. Schuhart took the lead with I think 2 to go or so, lap 54 I think it was. Larson threw a slider in 4. They took the what I thought it was over for Larson though. The last
Yeah.
lap coming into 2, he ran up on the cushion pretty hard, and I thought it was pretty much done there. But he just was a rocket on the backstretch going into 3. slid in front of Schuhart in turn four, and took the lead, battled out, kind of a photo finish a little bit, beat him by like a half a car length. So yeah, that was just by far a crazy show. I wish we saw some more races there at I-55. Larson, he says he loves it. He's the fourth driver to win multiple Ironman 55. So maybe that's a track to look out for next year in the High Limit Series. I mean, he loves the track and it puts on such a good show. So maybe we'll see that.
Yeah, I would definitely love to see as many races as possible. I'd be happy if they just raced there every week. I think it would be a good show every week there at I-55. But a couple of things about that race. I think one thing that's not being talked about enough is that slide job that Larson put in turns 3 and 4 on the final lap. That was a tough move, like you said. He looked like, to me, in 1 and 2, it looked like it was over. I thought Schuhart had the win in the bag, and Larson was really going to have to send it into 3 and 4 really hard to pull off that slide job. But you see guys, if he's going to send it really hard like that. You would expect Logan to be able to just cross back under and steal the win down the front straightaway. But Larson just really executed that slide job really good, where he sent it, but he didn't slide all the way up the track. He kind of stayed in a good position through the middle of the track, and Logan tried to turn back underneath of him, coming to the checkered, but he just did not leave enough room for him to come under. So, perfect execution there from Kyle. But the other thing I wanted to bring to light about this race is like the fact that it's 55 laps. I think that's why this race is so awesome, and then it's always so exciting every single year. I think in sprint car racing, we're not used to getting to see like longer races like that in lap lengths. Whereas in like dirt late model racing, we get accustomed to watching these 100 lap races almost every single week, and I think that's one of the reasons I personally lean towards the dirt late model stuff, because in those longer races, there's more time for things to develop. There's movers and shakers throughout the field, like comers and goers all across the field, and then um, I think that's what we saw on Saturday night. Larson, he didn't start on the pole. He had to work his way up there. And then, at the end of the race, Schuhart was able to challenge back and get a second chance to win the race after losing the lead to Larson.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the 55 laps, I mean, we see most sprint car events, they're like 30, 35 laps around that range. He took the lead from Schuhart with 20 to go, so we wouldn't even have seen that insane battle
Yeah.
between Larson and Schuhart if it was just a normal event. But yeah, I mean, just a crazy event. I loved it. I know when we used to play iRacing, it's been a minute. That was like my favorite track to run on iRacing, just testing the sprint car. Super fast track, just love it. Yeah, like I said, I just really hope we see some more races there moving forward. It definitely deserves it. The crowd's really good there. I saw a huge crowd, kind of mobbing Larson after the win. He stayed for a while, and I saw the locals. They were really excited because, like you said in the beginning, he wasn't expected to go there. So it was kind of just a big surprise for everyone. All the locals were excited, getting some autographs, meeting their favorite drivers. So yeah, just really cool event. Glad Larson picked up the win. They had a funny little thing at the end, a new tradition where they handed him like a dumbbell and he had to do a bicep curl on it. So thought that was kind of funny. Lifted it up to hoist it, but yeah, just a great event. Picked up the win there, but yeah, looking forward to seeing on maybe some new events there.
Yeah, they definitely didn't want to wear him out too much with the weightlifting there after the race, because it was a busy 2 days after that, or a long 2 days, I should say, for Kyle, at Michigan. Obviously, the race got started Sunday for the NASCAR Cup Series on Sunday afternoon after a short rain delay. They got 75 laps in, and then ultimately the rain came back. The Michigan mist. It was pretty much 24 hours straight of mist there at Michigan, and they got postponed to Monday for the final 125 laps. Obviously, a tough situation for us on the races like that when it gets postponed to Monday. We can't really watch it in detail, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this probably didn't get to watch that race either, just because it was on a Monday. A lot of people at work and stuff, but yeah, I mean, Kyle started P17 on Sunday, and ultimately with really good strategy from Cliff Daniels throughout the day, just to bring him up and capitalize on points throughout each of the stages. I mean, Kyle, we talk about the point standings with that fifth place finish. Now Kyle's up to sixth in the raw point standings for the regular season. So a really good points day for Kyle. And when you look at Hendrick Motorsports as a whole, the other three guys didn't finish inside the top 30. Kyle kind of salvaged the day a little bit for Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah, I mean, just a bad day for Hendrick, like you said. Bowman, I think he got kind of screwed with the finish with the point standing because he's bumped out. Obviously, Elliott, he needs a win to get in. Byron, I think that bumped him out of the second spot. I think it's Hamlin and Truex above him now.
Yes.
So, yeah, just an overall terrible day for Hendrick. Was surprised Larson was able to salvage that fifth place finish because I think it was with 73 to go. He restarted 31st. I don't remember what. I think it might have been the Bowman wreck. I wasn't watching, but
Yeah, I think
he
he
may have
flat
gotten
spotted
like
his
a
tires.
yeah, yeah, flat spot his tires. Yeah, just incredible, bounce back there, restarting 31st, make his way through the field. But yeah, fifth place finish. I guess we kind of gathered the conclusion that Truex can be beaten on a Monday. Truex definitely had the fastest car. Buescher picked up the win, but Truex he swept the two stages. He was just flying through the field. He just had a rocket ship of a car. I did see one thing. He was still out. He was staying out. He didn't pit on in the stage two. Suarez was in front of him, and he just pit. And Truex was like way faster than him on the restart. Took the stage two win. Everyone's saying it was like an illegal car. It needed to be sent to R&B, but he didn't get that win. Almost got it there at the end with Buescher with 11 to go. He kind of got pretty loose. He had to get out of the gas, and from there on out, Buescher he held the lead pretty good. But I mean, even with 11 laps to go, Truex he fell way behind, and Buescher still only won by like a tenth of a second. So Truex he's just been on an absolute tear this year. As of late, especially on a Monday, he's just a different kind of guy. But yeah, I was just surprised that he didn't pick up the win. But two in a row for RFK, like we mentioned, we kind of talked about it a little bit last week. RFK kind of on the rise. They're proven to be a competitive team. Keselowski's been finishing pretty good. He's been leading some laps.
He was fourth,
Busher,
right?
I don't remember where he finished,
I
but he
think
has
he
been
was.
pretty good
Yeah,
lately.
yeah, I think
But
he
yeah,
was
I mean
fourth.
they just been definitely a whole new team. Last year they were just kind of back markers, so it's kind of refreshing to see a new team up front.
Yeah, and I think I kind of saw that one when coming. With Brad Keselowski being in charge and making decisions with that team, I think it wasn't a very big surprise for me to see that team, kind of come on the rise here over the past year. And I mean, obviously, like you said, last year it was a tough go up until that Bristol night race in the playoffs where Buescher was able to win. But this year they've been really consistent and they've stayed in the playoff chase. Really the whole year, even before these two wins. Keselowski's pretty much in a safe position going into the playoffs. Even if he doesn't win a race now, I think him and Harvick are way ahead of everybody else in those four spots that don't have wins at the bottom of the standings. So um, RFK looks really good, and I mean, really surprising. I mean, Buescher matches his career wins total the past 2 weeks, doubles it, I guess I should say, up to 4 wins in his career, and it's kind of been a tough couple of weeks for Hendrick Motorsports. I would say. I mean, it seemed like the beginning of the year Hendrick was really good and seemed to be like dominant almost, better than most of the teams, with Byron winning a lot and Larson picking up 3 wins if you include the All Star race. But I kind of want to talk about it. Like you said, Truex has been really good and he's been like the dominant car in almost every single one of these races. So you've seen Toyota really fast with him. And then also Hamlin, he's had a ton of speed. He's second in the points. And then, even with Ford's been kind of down this year, but now 2 in a row for them.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's Chevy kind of getting worse or everyone else is just getting better around them. Because I mean, like you said, it was just complete domination from Chevy earlier in the year. Between Kyle Busch, Byron, Larson with those wins. Busch had another one, I think, later. But yeah, I mean, Chevy's just been super quick this year, but as of late, they've been really bad. Ford and Toyota, they've definitely been, on the rise. So hopefully things will change come playoff time. I mean, we're heading into a stretch of races where it may not matter too much. We're heading into road course races where you kind of have your road course guys that the manufacturer may not play too big of a role there. Indy road course, Watkins Glen, then you have just a wild card in Daytona after that. So be interesting to see. Like we said, there's still a lot of guys that should be in the playoffs. They have a chance to get it going here. The road course, Chase Elliott's one of them. If he's going to get in, it's going to be these next 2 weeks at Indy Road Course or Watkins Glen. He's kind of a road course technician, if you will. So if he's going to get in, he's definitely going to have to look to get a win in those two races. But yeah, I mean, just a lot of the guys, a lot of potential guys here in the stretch of races that need to get a win to get in, and the point situation is kind of jumping all around the place. I mean, a few guys they get a DNF and just skyrockets another guy up on the points list. So, it's make or break. It's crunch time at the end of the season, and we'll see as the next stretch of races come through what guys are going to get in, what guys are going to miss.
Yep. So, before we move on to last night's race at Oski, quick question. So, do you think? Okay, so first of all, I want to start by saying, do you think that Chase Elliott wins one of the next three races, and does he lock himself into the playoffs? And then, if not, do you think that there's any other driver outside of the bubble right now that wins a race in these next three and locks their way into the playoffs?
I'm not sure. I mean, is wait, isn't Gant is Gisbergen racing? Isn't he racing like Indy?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's racing Indy.
Yeah, so he might take a chance away from someone there. But who's outside the bubble? I mean, you have Harvick who's still on the points list, Keselowski's point, Bubba's in and Ty Gibbs is barely in, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
Ty
is there any
Gibbs
other like
is in. McDowell is on the outside looking in by 3 points. Then you've got Bowman, Chase Elliott, Allmendinger who's right there as well. Let's see who else. Suarez is right there on the knocking on the door. Cindric's outside looking in too, and then really all of the other stored Haas racing cars: Briscoe, Priest, Almirola.
Yeah, I mean, so you have McDowell who's really good on road courses. You have Allmendinger who's really good on road courses. So those are definitely two guys. Cindric, his one win is Daytona 500 win. He definitely has a chance there. Penske's really good on the super speedways. Suarez, he has a road course win. I think that was that Coda or was that Sonoma? I think it was Sonoma.
Sonoma, yeah,
Yeah, Sonoma.
last
So
year.
heading in with the super speedway and two road courses, there's a lot of those guys are, it's kind of their wheelhouse with the road courses, Allmendinger, McDowell. So I don't know. I mean, I think if Elliott is going to get a win, it'll come at Watkins Glen. That's kind of historically been one of his best tracks. I don't think it'll come at Indy Road Course. I could see Reddick maybe picking up a win at Indy Road Course this year. I think he won it last year, right? Was Reddick the winner last year?
Not sure on that.
I'm not sure,
I
but
think,
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
one of those guys, I think could definitely win their way into the road course.
yeah. I mean, I think, man, I think it's tough. For me, I think that I don't think Chase makes it. Honestly, I don't think he makes it. I don't think he wins one of these next three races. It sucks to say, and it's obviously been an unfortunate season for him. But and I'd love to see him win one of these next three and get in. But I just don't see it happening. I think that team just has too much to overcome, and they haven't even shown in a single race since he's came back from injury that he's even been in contention to win. So I don't see it happening, but I think it's more likely we see one of the other guys outside the bubble win a race than him. So um, getting to last night's race at Oski, the Southern Iowa Speedway, the Front Row Challenge, kind of the reason we're doing this podcast tonight rather than last night, Dylan. We probably should have just done it last night because there's not really much to talk about from last night's race. We stayed up all night long, obviously an hour difference, central time zone there in Iowa. But a 22nd place finish for Kyle, and that's what it went down as after he had a mechanical issue on lap number 2 of the race that took him out. Kind of disappointing to stay up all night and then he's done just like that.
Yeah, he pulled in the pits after 2 laps. I was kind of looking it up. I think Walkipedia reported that it was a blown engine. I kind of thought when he pulled in that he was coming around through the pits. Maybe they just misfired or something, or he had a flat. It's just something small. But of course, he pulled off the track. Engine blew, kind of goner from there on out. Really not much to touch on. Disappointing. He was starting sixth, so I definitely think he could have, put up a decent chance. He's had the speed, but I mean, it depends how you look at it. I mean, it's good that he got that out of the way before Knoxville. Could have had a blown engine at prelim night, kind of screwed him and set him off. So it was good that it happened at Hosky and not Knoxville.
Yeah, and you're right. Maybe it was just a little bit of a blessing in disguise there. Obviously, in the moment, it kind of sucks. Kind of the interesting part to me, like you said, like Wikipedia reporting it was a blown engine, but for me, like watching on the stream, there wasn't any like smoke or anything that you really could see. So it's kind of odd to me. But yeah, I mean, it sucks because obviously we wanted to see Larson win his third in a row there at Southern Iowa. But I love that event so much, Dylan. I think it's so fun with the foot race and everything for the dash instead of actually putting the cars on the track. Because I mean, a lot of times for me, I'm not a huge fan of like the dash in sprint car racing, just because I feel like it a lot of times it just gets so spread out so quick, and it's only like 6 laps, and it just like sometimes it seems like it's kind of pointless. You know, maybe a guy gets one position here, one position there, but I don't know. I kind of like the foot race a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's definitely fun. Maybe J Mac caught on to the meta. Maybe we'll see some more barefoot drivers in the future. But I don't know. It's cool, but like I feel like one of these days something's gonna go wrong. Some guy's gonna maybe, God forbid, get hurt trying to put it all out there and run. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it is a little bit pointless to dash. I mean, it's only a few laps. You're really not making up too many positions. So, but yeah, the foot race is a really fun event. Cool to see those guys kind of just try to book it, run a 4-2 down the line to determine their spot. But yeah, I mean, just again, really unfortunate couldn't get that race in. See what the car looked like before Knoxville, but like I said, it's good it happened at Oski instead of Knoxville, and yeah, I mean, he's in for a lot of racing in Knoxville this week. He's starting his, I think you said he's starting Thursday prelim night. He's not doing Wednesday.
Yeah, Thursday night prelim for Kyle Larson, and then if he's does good enough, he'll be right into Saturday night show for the main event. Obviously, going to have to do some traveling back and forth from Indianapolis on Saturday. Going to have NASCAR Cup Series practice and qualifying in the late morning, early afternoon there in Speedway, Indiana. But after that, she'll be able to get right back down or over to Knoxville and try to go for his second Knoxville Nationals title. So really looking forward to that. Probably one of the biggest weeks of the year for sprint car racing. Super excited for that, and super excited that maybe this will be the hopefully the last time we see the Cup cars on the Indy Road Course. Maybe we'll get the oval back next year.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. This race just sucks. Oh, and then one other thing that I had to add on the schedule post. I don't know if everyone saw it, but the practice and qualifying is going to be on the app. It won't be on
God.
TV, so that kind of sucks. I mean, they could at least put it on Peacock. I
Yeah,
mean, at
man.
least put it there. So I don't
It's
know what they're doing with that. Nothing could be as worse though as the Coda race that they recorded and then put it on TV like 4 hours later. I don't think anything is quite as bad as that, but. Yeah, just at least put it on Peacock.
Dude, yeah, put it on Peacock. I mean, literally the last two Xfinity Series races have been on Peacock, like streamed on Peacock, but we can't put Cup Series practice and qualifying like on there. I mean, it's just I don't know. It seems like a joke to me. Like I don't get why we can't just have it on Peacock. Like I literally pay monthly to have NBC streaming service, and then when the NASCAR race is on NBC or when they're having the coverage for it, it's not on their streaming service. It's on the NBC Sports app, like which hardly ever works. I'm gonna be very surprised if we can even watch this weekend because that app is so bad that last year every time we had to use it, it was like half the time it would work, half the time it wouldn't, and you kind of just had to pay attention to practice and qualifying on the NASCAR app. So we're gonna try and
Maybe
put
they
we're because they
maybe they just do it on that because they know how bad of a track it is. They don't want to waste their time putting it on air.
well, I think the reason why it's not on USA Network this weekend is because IndyCar is there too. So they have a lot of coverage on USA Network or on NBC during the day for the IndyCar race on Saturday, the Xfinity race on Saturday, and then Sunday the Cup race. So it is a lot of racing that's all on NBC's networks, but um yeah, still no excuse not to put it on Peacock at least for me. But oh well, we'll try and provide the best updates possible on our social media. So stay tuned for that, and really looking forward to the week ahead.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully you can maybe squeak out a win here before playoffs, kind of get a little hot. Like we said, it's kind of out of control. Road course is kind of hit or miss. Daytona, we all know how that goes. I'm just praying he can get a good finish there. I'll be in attendance, so hopefully he can get something going there, get a good finish the race, not get caught up in any bull crap. But yeah, I mean that should pretty much wrap it up for this week. We appreciate everyone's support as always. Be sure to always stay alert on the Twitter. Twitter's where everything is kind of posted, especially for the race updates. Lap by lap, heat by heat, race by race. So keep up with that. We're posting on all the platforms as usual, and we'll see everyone next week.
Yep. Uh, we'll be back next week to recap the Knoxville Nationals as well as the NASCAR Cup Series at the Indy Road Course. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please follow this podcast so you do not miss a thing. Have a great rest of the week, everyone, and we will see you in the next episode.